I was born in Colombo, Sri Lanka.
Okay.
And my family, my father's family was a large family. And as you know, I'm a Tamil,
Yes.
Sri Lankan Tamil.
Yeah.
And in the 70s, my dad's brother was the mayor of Jaffna in Sri Lanka.
Okay.
So the Duraiappah name is
Last name?
The last name is, at the time was known. And there are many complexities to the conflict that arose in Sri Lanka, but at that time they could sense that things were going to be unsettled. So
Okay.
my father, my uncle said to my father, you should go to Canada. There's many opportunities there. So at the time, the government was opening the doors to this great country.
So was anybody from your family here in Canada or before that?
One of my dad's sisters came.
Okay.
And
Before that.
and got her status and sponsored everyone one by one. So we lived in Toronto with 3 or 4 other family members in one apartment.
Okay.
The story many of us
What
have
was the
seen.
year?
In 1974.
74. Okay.
1974. And
And how old were you at that?
I was a year and a half old.
Year and a half.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we came and really, struggled. But this country gave us so many opportunities. In my parents' mind, they probably envisioned, like many of us do for our children, is to, become a professional,
Okay.
a doctor, accountant, engineer. And so, like they came with their suitcases. At that time, you couldn't bring your assets.
Okay.
You could only bring your physical assets. So they
Okay.
brought they left their everything back home. And my mom, first job she got was with the Ministry of the province, Ministry of Health,
Okay.
at 2 Robert Speck Parkway in Mississauga.
Mississauga, yes, near
Square One.
Yeah.
And so they didn't know, anybody really, even a few other Sri Lankan families. And we moved out this way. Now, I started doing my schooling. I'm an only child,
Okay.
no siblings. And early on, when I was young, my father took ill. He had a massive heart attack, and so my mom, Amma, I call Amma,
Yeah.
Amma, she had to do everything. She worked, cooked, looked after my father, got me through school and education, and sacrificed a lot,
Yeah.
really, by herself here. Other family
Very
eventually
tough
came.
time, yeah.
Yeah, and then one by one, my parents, we sponsored, we went in Sri Lanka, went through the riots in the mid-'80s, sponsored many family coming to Canada. So one day when I was in my high school and I was walking, and it was about to be summer break, one of the school teachers said, "Hey, Nishan, the police department, police service has
Recruiting.
they have a summer
Okay.
program for students
Okay.
that are from ethnic communities.
Okay.
Would you be interested?" I said, my other friends, they
Were
may
you in
be
Mississauga or Milton at that?
at Milton at the time.
Milton. So then you
Yeah.
moved to Milton.
That's right, moved to Milton, and so I went. And in the high school, there were only 2 other South Asian families. The other family is Tiger Jeet Singh.
Oh, Tiger Jeet Singh, the
And
great
the
wrestler.
great Tiger Jeet Singh, and his son.
Yeah.
And so I went into the program, and as a youth program, and I began to see what policing was about.
Okay.
The thing I always tell people is there's never a direct path to your goal,
Yeah.
right? The road sometimes winds, and so I thought, I in case I don't become a police officer, I should go and get an education. So I went to University of Toronto.
Okay.
While I was there, my father passed away.
Okay.
And so, when I finished university, almost when I was finishing university, I got a phone call from one of those phone officers that I had met years ago. And they said, "Nishan, by our calculation, you should be probably finishing university.
Yeah, by the time.
Yeah. Would you be interested in applying to Halton Police in the police department at the time?" And I said, "Yeah." So at the time, my dad had passed away. Amma went and traveled to British Columbia to see her brother. And so I applied while my mom was away.
Okay. Okay.
And when she came back, can I tell you, she was not happy at all.
She was not happy.
She was very upset.
She
said,
wanted you to be an engineer.
Yeah,
or doctor,
that's right.
Like other parents.
Like other parents.
Yeah.
You know what she wanted was the sacrifice she made to come here,
Yeah.
she wanted the reward to exceed the sacrifice, right? And as you know, policing in many communities not always seen as it is here as a
Yes.
very honorable and noble profession. So
We have different perception back home
That's right. That's right.
for the police.
That's right.
Yeah.
But what the community needs is a police service that reflects the community, right? And so that was the start, right?
Finally, when did you join actually?
1995.
1995.
Right.
Okay.
And of course, one of the few racialized police officers in policing. I knew who the other South Asian officers were in Peel, in Toronto, and a very small number of us were in policing in 1995. And so very quickly,
Got the promotions and you rose up to the level of the deputy police chief.
Yeah, I moved around to
different accomplishment.
No, and now and I have now family that have entered policing. Now my whole family are one of the biggest supporters of policing.